top class superstars there, so we just need to be aware of them, same way as we've been aware of like the top guys in the series earlier. So we're just trying to, get ourselves ready and be excited and fresh and ready when it starts on Saturday.
You look at the other series, the opposing goaltenders were big stories, whether it was Vasilevsky, Swayman, obviously Shesterkin, but what has Bob meant for you guys? Seems like he's just been such a rock back there for you guys.
Yeah, he's been really good. Best goalie in the world in my opinion. So to have him in my team is unreal. We help him a lot. We try to make the job as easy as possible for him. But overall, we're all happy to just follow him and have him here.
What are you expecting from the atmosphere up in Edmonton?
Loud, I think, but I don't know. Like we played in New York and Boston, so very same, I guess. I don't know if it can get more louder. Even here, in Sunrise, it's been unreal. You can't even hear your own voice sometimes, so that's been the best part of the playoff for sure.
And then I've been kind of asking everybody, it's a long plane ride up to Edmonton. Like, what do you like to do on the plane? Do you sleep? Do you hang out with the other guys and stuff? What do you like to do?
I'm just watching some shows, maybe a movie, but overall just hanging around, looking at the guys playing cards, and I'm not doing anything crazy. I'm not a poker player, so try to save the money and see how they play, but just watch some shows, maybe sleep a little bit and just relax.
Anything in particular that you're excited to watch on these plane rides?
I'm watching right now White Collar from Netflix, and I think I like that show, so I'm excited to keep watching it.
Lundy, looking at you, 22, you've already made the finals twice now. What is it like watching Okposo, OEL, guys that have been in this league, 15 or so years, make it for the first time? The post-game celebration, they looked like they were going crazy.
Yeah, but at the same time, we all remember last year, and we want to be ready. We want to do things differently this time, and that's something I felt right away. We were really happy to make the finals again, but at the same time, we still want to win one more cup, so that's the goal. But I'm really happy to see OEL almost 1,000 games in NHL, and just Okposo as well. Being so long, even me growing up, that's names you watch NHL. OEL is from Sweden, captain of the Swedish national team many years. So just cool to have them in my team and just hear some stories.
With McDavid, do you expect to match up with him at times this series, or how do you prepare for stuff like this?
I'm sure we'll play against everybody. In the earlier series, my line has got their top guys, so I'm expected to play against everybody, and just we all know how fast it is. Just be aware when he's on the ice and know where he are, and just play him tight, not give too much room and space to make plays.
So Chucky, first off, going back to Edmonton, do you still have the same hatred that you used to for the region?
I don't know. I wouldn't say that, but anytime you're playing any opponent in the Stanley Cup Final, you don't even have to have a team rivalry or any rivalry with them, and right when the puck drops, it's going to be very intense. Like you've had that rivalry for years. So we are very experienced going back to last year in this moment right now, and I'm sure it's Stanley Cup Final. There's so much on the line, so I'm sure teams will go after it pretty good early, and I'm sure both teams are really want this.
You obviously know a lot of their team very well. What can you say? What can you tell people about what that looks like playing against that team?
There's been actually a little bit of turnover since just the last couple of years since I've been there, but I think that I really haven't played against Skinner that much, so I'd say that's the one new thing. I think that they defend better as a team than they get credit for. I think everybody still thinks about McDavid and company and the all-out offense, run and gun. That's not really what they're like. So they obviously have that super high-end offense, but they're I would say they're more complete now than maybe they were even 2 years ago when I was there. So very, very skilled team. Defense, have more defensive guys other than Bouchard, who's unbelievable offensively. And, their forwards have a lot of speed. So played against them a lot up in Calgary. Haven't seen them a lot the last couple of years. We haven't seen them in 6 months or whatever. So it's both teams aren't really too familiar with each other. But I'm sure after the first period we'll get a good feeling of each other.
What about having to contain McDavid and Draisaitl against the challenge that goes into that 1-2 punch?
No, for sure. It's a group effort, never one person. We've got a really good defensive team here, and I think that's just speaks to how 20 guys have bought into it. So it's got to be group. We've got guys that can skate just like them. Maybe. McDavid's probably the fastest guy in the world, so got to be on the right side of him. If you're, even or behind him, he's gonna beat you. So got to be in front of him at all times, and have layers of support.
Obviously, you guys are a great road team, but what benefit do you see to starting the series at home?
Probably just not having to do that extra flight at the start is nice. It's nice to be here for a week, just preparing and. We're very comfortable both at home and on the road, but anytime you can start at home, it's, we'll take it.
Speaking of flights, like obviously 6 hours probably each way. What do you like to do on the flights? How do you stay busy? Do you sleep? Like, what do you like to do?
Yeah, I play poker. We have a good group. Cuzzy definitely is the last guy that's taken the cash in poker, but I don't know if I could play poker for 6 hours, to be honest. I'll probably do poker. A little bit of a fake nap, walk around, back to playing poker. I don't know. It is a long flight. You only do it a couple times a year, so that part is going to be a little different this series, definitely.
And then last playing against them in the playoffs.
It was intense. We definitely ran into probably the best McDavid ever was playing. He was on fire, and their other offensive guys were had a great series, and they actually played us really hard defensively as well. But I think the first game was 9-7 or something like that, and that was the only game we won. And then they beat us the next game. It was an even game, and then they took over for a lot of the series. But they played really well. Their top guys, Bouchard, McDavid, Draisaitl were really good. Hyman was really good that series. So it's a great environment to play in up there. They're all into it. It's really probably the biggest thing to happen in Canada in 30 years or whatever, so first time that they've been back to, or not 30, 20 years since they've been back in the finals in 06, right? I think it was when Edmonton was back. So they've been waiting for it for 20 years. So I'm sure it's going to be a great atmosphere. Something that we're looking forward to going up and seeing. And feels like we haven't been to Canada in forever here. So get the passports ready.
What do you think is the biggest difference between, your team now versus this team a year ago at this point, getting ready for the final and everything? I think the team, maybe the attitudes changed. Do you think it's similar?
Yeah, I just think we have buy-in from everybody, contributions from everybody. We're a deep team. We're a very committed team, and very relaxed team. Last year we were kind of just riding that high and rode it all the way to the finals, whereas, it's just a very even-keeled, chill approach and committed. Guys are coming to the rink, working as hard as they can every day, expecting that from the guy next to them, and everybody's bought in, everybody's having a great time, but it's taking it day by day right now and just try to take care of your day, and we're doing that really well right now, and just really even keel, and kind of that chill approach that I guess has kind of worked for us.
Are you more chill now? Your coach was saying you're more disciplined now maybe than you were when you first came in. You're kind of like a Tasmanian devil. Is that a conscious effort from you? Or?
I just think kind of recognizing my game and changing a little bit. I think not only myself but our whole team is super disciplined, and not like necessarily just disciplined like with not taking penalties, even though we're down really like a ton in that, but just discipline and our routes on the ice and being predictable and disciplined and knowing what the guy next to you is going to do, and discipline in your shift length, like everything. We're a really good team right now, and that's very important. And everybody's bought in, and discipline, at the rink, away from the rink. Like we've got that full-on buy-in right now, 24/7. So our team's taken, huge strides in that since I've seen in 2 years, and hopefully we're peaking at the right time here.
Talk about today.
You have anything for us today?
Oh, I was thinking about that. I used to come up with like current affairs or something, except I don't want to talk about anything that heavy. So you guys have to come up. I'm gonna say, you know what? You guys are in the media. What's going on?
You ever see the show Current Affairs?
Yeah, I don't.
It's like Access Hollywood.
Yeah, so that would be a no then.
Yeah. I don't know where that came from.
Yeah.
Injury news. It sounds like you guys have some stuff going on with Barkov, Kulikov.
Well, if you come tomorrow, your story will be different. No, they're fine. They're just getting something worked on, and we know that if we can get them just enough time, so everybody skates tomorrow, unless somebody got hurt today. Tune in.
Is that the nice thing about, having this time off?
Yeah.
As opposed to last year where you guys were sitting there waiting for an opponent, where now you and Eddie
Yeah.
are kind of on the same schedule.
Same schedule. You want fairness. You know what? In truth, you want both teams healthy. You want both fairly reasonably similar schedules, and away they go. It's probably the perfect amount of time off. You can take a couple of days, then you can push a little bit in the middle, and then get ready for the game. So we are as healthy as you can be as a hockey club. Both those guys will be skating full on tomorrow.
Just year over year, I guess, maybe knocking on wood, have you thought about just how nice it is comparatively to last year when you went into the final?
Oh. And then we went into the final with an unknown because we lost Lusteran in the last game, late in the last game. So you go from this is what our team looks and we think, and then you step into the next game and it happens to be the final, but you don't know what your team looks like then because he's such an important piece. Yeah, but you know what? That's all this part because neither team is necessarily getting healthy to the final, right? You're here today. Nobody falls off a curb. It's just those are all the risks of being alive. So we're healthy. We're good.
You guys have a 6-hour flight each way to Edmonton.
Yeah.
I'm kind of asking everybody, like, what do you like to do on the flight? Are you working? Are you sleeping? Are you watching TV or movies?
The first two. I used to hate flying, like absolute full-blown sweat, agonize about before getting on the plane, and then you just after a while you just don't care, right? Like it's normal. So I can sleep on a plane pretty good, but it's the best place to get work done. You can watch as much hockey as you can stand on an airplane, and read a little bit too. Try to get some sleep.
Do you do anything these days away from hockey?
Nothing.
Like, is it just wait to sleep
Yeah.
hockey?
All I do is try to get myself in a place that I can go to work the next day. Like you try to get enough sleep, relax for sure, but I don't. We'll go for walks and sometimes find a restaurant. A lot of times just stay at home. Hang out with my cats, it's true. Grown man. No, how special these playoff runs are. And during the season, it's a bit of a grind, but you kind of have to force yourself there to do other things so it's not your entire life. I do not have a healthy work-life balance, but in some ways it's okay in the playoffs, right? You're not supposed to. So I watch hockey every night. You got to come up with something on the off days now, but that's okay.
Coach, I just spoke to Nico Mikkola for a while. I know you mentioned when he first came in that he played exactly the kind of game that you guys want to play. And now as you've gotten this deep into a playoff run, his first season with the team, how important is a big, sturdy, durable, defensive-minded guy who does all the little things?
That can get across the line. He can just close. He was an interesting guy. But, that's all. It goes back to Bill finding these guys because we were watching video on him when he was in St. Louis and thought that would be good, but it might take a ways to get him. Couldn't make the trade for him. Watched him then in New York. And both those teams at the time played a different defensive game than we did. And the kind of thought was if we can take him out of that and put him into something that's probably built more to his style, he could excel. And I thought he'd be good, but I didn't know that he'd be this good.
I know you say you don't understand goalies, but I was wondering if you ever wondered what Bob is doing before a practice. If you asked Rob about that, or did you care, or didn't you care to understand, or how would you?
Some questions you don't want to ask because then you may have to form an opinion. I don't know when the first time I saw it, but I'm leaving the rink after the pregame and I'm heading home and I look down the hallway and he's Olympic lifting in the hallway. He's playing that night. I don't know what the hell he's doing. but I don't need an opinion on that. And it's really important that sometimes you just shut up and keep your eyes closed, keep moving. So that's kind of, Sergei is an intelligent man and a very focused man. And he has designed a program that allows him to be great at this point in his career. And while there has to be a certain amount of rigidity in that, there hasn't been so much that he hasn't been able to change and morph and maybe learn. So he's designed a program with an eye on continuing to learn and change that program. But we got a lot of very committed athletes in there that work very, very hard, and their nutrition's right and all this, but I don't know that I've met somebody like Sergei. And I bet you I know about 10% of it. There's a whole bunch of this stuff we never see. He goes home, he's got a whole program for everything. To see somebody that committed, that's inspiring, right? When you're rolling out of bed in the morning, you don't feel like doing the video, you're kind of going, well, Bob's probably already got 3 hours in. We're working on something, I better get to the rink.
Is he a quirky goalie? You've had other goalies. Is he a normal goalie?
No, I find him to be a peaceful man. Very interesting. We were in Vancouver last year. Weather wasn't bad, it was a little bit chilly out, and things weren't going great at that time, and we just went for a walk together. I talked very little bit about hockey, but because I had a little bit of a Russian culture life experience, just asked him questions. He's an incredibly interesting guy. If you could read a transcript of that conversation, you would think the other guy was 57 and I was, whatever, 30-ish. This is good. Very wise man, old soul. He's had some experience, very sophisticated in some ways in understanding life. So really interesting conversation. His part was. Mine wasn't particularly.
What's a snippet of that the transcript read?
Oh, no, I mean, it was him telling me about growing up and what his life was like there, because I was interested in having a little bit of an idea of what it's like there, and that was all. It is an incredible life experience. Those of us who were born and raised in North America, you don't get to see some of the challenges that a guy like Sergei would have had to have gone through daily to become great, and he's done it. So after the season's over, I recommend it to any of you. He's a very interesting guy.
Panarin as well, that story about him and his grandfather, I'm sure you've read it.
Parts of you hear about it, right? Anecdotally, there's a lot of people that have dealt with challenges to get to greatness, and they work hard at it. He's earned it.
Speaking of, since we're on Bobrovsky, and if you don't understand goaltending, imagine that's me, I'm right on this end, but he's 35 and sort of reinvented, I don't want to say reinvented, but in the past year, he's considered one of the top goalies in the league again. And what has changed?
I don't know, right? I wasn't here early on. I do think that I think our team got better. I think that has a lot to do with it, right? And there might be I don't know if an inflection point or a threshold when you can give a guy just a little better chance to make that save. Then confidence starts to build daily and things come back. So we would say that if we know Sergei, he is very committed. He's not casual about anything that he does. So the losses and the goals, he would certainly look at them, carry them, try to learn from them. And if there's a lot of them, you may get overwhelmed by them. I don't know about that. I know that he had done everything that he could do to be great. And I think that the team in front of him improved, and the two of them kind of went hand in hand to, like, we're a lot better hockey team with the way he's played. You go back to him coming back into the Boston series, but it was true even before that, right? He kind of he got hurt is what happened, and then, but from the start of this year, he's been very, very good.
I mean, the Marchand save on the breakaway is something they still talk about.
I still, you know what, it's funny, they still talk about that, and for me, I was fine until Ekblad went to sweep it, and that's when my heart went, my throat, like, it's gonna just the speed of it, he's going down, he's gonna go 5-hole, right? He's gonna bunt that thing, and then he's made some big saves.
Coach, obviously there's still a round left, but for post-OEL, this is the farthest they've ever been. They both played over 1,000 games in the NHL. This is why they came here, was to get in series like this and moments like this. Just what extra energy do you get from those guys, especially maybe even during a week like this? 'Cause I imagine both those guys are on cloud nine right now.
Yeah. So when you come to the when they come to the team, what you just said is true. We got a pretty good team. Both different. One signed off injury, and one is kind of that veteran trade guy who's well established in terms of leadership and character. But what's good, and I'm going to speak for them. The special part of this year clearly is playing in June. But that's not what's most special about here. It's having especially for OEL, having a year like this in your hockey life. And he may have had phenomenal times other places, but you guys come to practice every day, you see it, right? He's worked hard. He's in a room full of men, and people that he can interact with. He's got tons of friends. He's part of it. And he also knows he's not playing another 15 years, right? You're on the back nine. He might be on the 10th hole. I mean, he's got lots of hockey left in him, but he's not on the front nine anymore. So he cherished that a lot harder.
Thanks, everybody. Thank you, Coach.
I don't think he cherished something harder. You cherish it more deeply.
Yeah.
Sorry about that.
George wants to ask you one more.
Sure.